which we can call, for example, Onkalo phase. We passed the site selection phase, and now we are in a kind of more scientific and technological phase where we develop further this KBS3 concept. Maybe it should not be called KBS3 anymore because so many decades have passed, but normally we still call it KBS3. And very important for this development was that we signed a cooperation agreement with the HKB in 2001, and we have renewed this agreement in 2006, so we have cooperation for 10 years more or less now, until 2011, and then what will happen remains to be seen. And together with Swedes we have had a lot of studies, development, design, conceptual design and so on, a lot of activities, and this is very fruitful for all the parties, and we also have of course participated in the international programs, for example within EU. The next step was to start the construction of this rather famous Onkalo facility. Onkalo seems to be a worldwide known word. It means something in Finnish language, but otherwise it doesn't mean so much to others. Anyway, we have this facility. We started the construction in 2004. Right now we are some 350 meters deep, and early next year, we are supposed to be in a depth of 420 meters, and that's the final goal. We are not going to continue more. The interesting point with this Onkalo facility is that it's planned to be a part of the final repository, entrance to a repository. Although we don't have a construction license, so the Finnish regulators are very flexible, and they accepted that it can be planned and constructed as if it were a part of the final repository. It means anyway that Stuk is surveying us very closely. We have safeguard surveillance, we have technological surveillance, we are delivering all the design documentation to Stuk as if it were a nuclear facility. So we are fulfilling all the conditions, and if so accepted later on by the regulator, it can be declared a part of the final repository. So what we are doing right now, we are preparing a kind of pre-licensing documentation. We have planned to submit the license application for construction license in 2012. But now, at the end of this year, we already are doing pre-licensing. We collect all the documentation that is needed for license application, and we identify the shortcomings, so we make a plan how to fill the missing information. And in this way, I guess once you make a preparatory work first, and then you have 3 years till time to continue and finish it, I guess we are rather confident to claim that 2012 we are submitting the license application. Thank you.
Looking back, this seems to have been a very smooth ride all the way, even made easier by flexible legislators, which seems to be a good prerequisite. But were there any hard decisions that had to be taken? Were there any obstacles that you had to surmount?
Of course, there are always hard decisions and obstacles, but I'm not willing to go into any technical details. I guess, generally speaking, a very hard decision was the selection of the site, because there was heavy competition between, like in Sweden, and you have the same hard decision. So we had this same decision between Lovis and Eurajoki, and we finally selected Eurajoki in 1999.
But let's include Sweden, where we still have time. So.
Yes, thank you. I think a lot has already been said by Hans-Peter and myself about the Swedish program, so I'll just make a few final remarks. First, just to say that to be able to implement the geological disposal, what you need basically is a concept and a technology, and you need a site. Now, the history about the concept and the situation today in Sweden about the KBS concept is that already actually in 1984, that concept was looked at by the authorities and by the Swedish government, and it was approved as a basis for a potential concept for safe storage of spent fuel. and as a basis for starting the last reactors in the Swedish nuclear program. It was not an approval to start to build a repository, but it was an approval as a basis for expanding into more nuclear energy in our country. Then I think we've had a very good thing. Hans Forsberg mentioned that. We had, at an early stage, a very clear legislation and division of responsibilities. And SKB has, over the years, every 3 years, produced our plans and our R&D work in an extensive report. And that has been reviewed by universities, by safety authorities, of course, and a decision has been taken by the government. We made 9 RD&D reports since 1984, and we made 3 additional reports requested by the government. And that, at each case, at each occasion, the government basically has approved the concept as the right basis for the further planning. So that's also an important statement to make about the concept. And what we are now approaching is a milestone where we want to actually implement that concept. And we will give the license application next year. And it's a very extensive work going on in our company right now to produce that license application. I'm not competing with the number of pages that you had, Ward, but I think somewhere around 5,000 pages as a measure of the extent of material in the application as such, and then of course a lot of technical references. So that's where we stand with the concept, and it's backed by large-scale laboratory research the last 10 years. For the siting, we tend sometimes to forget that also in Sweden we had our difficulties, especially in the beginning, and in the mid-1980s there was, one might say, a kind of moratorium for the siting process in Sweden. There was a lot of opposition, and we had to restart in the beginning of the 1990s. And then you know the story with feasibility studies, with voluntary participation, where I think together with a few other countries we did some pioneering work in the way to introduce fully social aspects and public involvement in the process. And we are very happy about that work so far. Now we have 2 sides. We have, as was mentioned for Finland, we have the lucky situation that the political support is very strong, very clear. Every day we have to work in a good way to keep it. And there is also, I dare to say, a very good public support. So we have what they say in French, the embarras du choix, the difficulty to make a good choice. And we've tried to make that choice in only a month from now, and that's one reason for this conference. I think that's what I need to say.
There's a lesson to be learned from Sweden and Finland that you should choose its site in an area where there is already a nuclear industry, because there's an understanding in the public that this can be handled or you get used to it.
I mean, it's definitely so that the starting point, if you work with the municipalities, as we have done, having a long tradition and knowledge about nuclear is an advantage. But of course, you can never get around that. You need also to combine that with very good geology.
Are you using that experience in France? You were nodding.
We couldn't, because we have not good geological formation in where the nuclear plants are installed. So we have to begin from the beginning. And in Bure, in the east of France, where we are leading our investigations, there are not any nuclear plants, so it's more difficult, really.
Audience, a few minutes more before we go to lunch. Hans Forsström gets the microphone. Framme sitter Hans. There's one, I think, raise your hand, be quite close to the microphone.
Tomorrow I'm supposed to talk with countries who are entering the nuclear field. And I'm supposed to talk with people from countries who are entering the nuclear field. Waste management would be one of the issues. What is the main message you think I should give to these countries? What are your experiences that would be useful for a new country?
A new country in what respect?
A country which is starting nuclear power or planning to have nuclear power.